Some of these trucks look so unreal your brain refuses to believe them. Twisted proportions, impossible cab designs, wheels where wheels shouldn't be, machines that look more like CGI experiments than real vehicles. But here's the truth. Every one of them was real steel, built in real factories, and driven on real roads. Engineers pushed boundaries so far they accidentally created rolling optical illusions. People laughed, people stared. Some didn't even believe the photos, until proof showed up. Get ready for 12 old trucks, so strange you'll think they're CGI. But every bolt, weld, and mile is 100% real. Number 1. Berliet T100. The Berliet T100 remains one of the most visually shocking trucks ever built, even by today's standards. Developed in the mid-1950s by the French manufacturer Berliet, this machine was not designed for public roads or commercial transport in the usual sense. It was created specifically for oil and gas exploration in the Sahara Desert, where normal vehicles simply could not survive. Everything about the T100 was dictated by extreme environmental requirements, and that is exactly why it looks so unreal in photographs. The T100 was a massive 6x6 heavy-duty truck, standing far taller and wider than any conventional road truck of its era. Its tires alone were enormous low-pressure desert units designed to float over sand rather than dig into it. The cab looked disproportionately small compared to the towering wheels and massive chassis, creating a visual imbalance that often makes modern viewers assume the truck is CGI or digitally altered. In reality, this odd proportion was intentional, keeping the cab compact, reduced weight, and simplified cooling in desert heat. Under the hood, the Berliet T100 was powered by a huge engine designed to deliver torque rather than speed. This allowed the truck to haul extremely heavy loads such as drilling equipment, fuel tanks, and support modules across terrain where roads simply did not exist. The chassis was massively reinforced with a ladder frame design that prioritized strength over refinement. Steering such a machine required immense mechanical leverage, and maneuvering it was closer to operating industrial equipment than driving a truck. Only a handful of Berliet T100 units were ever built, and they were never intended for mass production. Today, surviving examples are preserved in museums, where visitors are often stunned by their sheer scale. When seen next to modern trucks, the T100 does not look old, it looks alien. That combination of real engineering, extreme purpose, and exaggerated proportions is exactly why the Berliet T100 continues to look like something rendered on a computer, rather than forged from steel in the 1950s.
Number 2.
Scammell Mechanical Horse. The Scammell Mechanical Horse is one of the strangest looking trucks ever put into large-scale daily service, and its appearance still confuses people who encounter it for the first time. Introduced in the 1930s by British manufacturer Scammell, this vehicle was designed to replace horse-drawn carts used by railways and urban delivery services. Instead of copying traditional truck layouts, Scammell engineers took an entirely different approach, and the result looks almost cartoonish. The most striking feature of the mechanical horse is its three-wheel design. It used a single front wheel for steering and two rear wheels to support the load, giving it an instantly bizarre stance. The cab was extremely short and rounded, almost bubble-like, with the driver sitting far forward. Behind the cab was an automatic trailer coupling system that allowed drivers to pick up and drop trailers without leaving their seat. This made the truck incredibly efficient in rail yards and tight city spaces. Visually, the mechanical horse looks like a toy scaled up to real size. The small wheels, stubby body, and rounded front make it appear unreal in photographs, especially when compared to normal lorries of the same era. Many modern viewers assume images of it are edited or stylized, but thousands of these vehicles were genuinely used across the UK for decades. Its successor, the Scammell Scarab, refined the design but retained the same unusual proportions. From an engineering perspective, the mechanical horse was brilliant. Its tight turning circle allowed it to operate where four-wheel trucks struggled, and its simplicity made it reliable and cheap to run. From a visual perspective, however, it broke every rule of what a truck was supposed to look like. That combination, radical functionality wrapped in an unconventional shape, is why the Scammell Mechanical Horse still looks like CGI today, despite being nearly a century old. Number 3. Tatra 111. The Tatra 111 is a perfect example of how unconventional engineering can produce a vehicle that looks unreal even when it is entirely practical. Built in Czechoslovakia starting during World War II and continuing into the 1950s, this heavy truck was designed to operate in extreme conditions: snow, mud, forests, and undeveloped terrain where roads were unreliable or non-existent. What makes the Tatra 111 visually strange is its unique backbone chassis design. Instead of a traditional ladder frame, Tatra used a central tubular spine that housed the drive shaft, with independently mounted swinging half-axles. This allowed all wheels to maintain contact with uneven ground, giving the truck exceptional off-road capability. From the outside, this engineering choice resulted in unusual wheel spacing, high ground clearance, and a stance that looks almost animated in photos. The cab of the Tatra 111 was boxy and upright, with flat panels and minimal ornamentation. Combined with the tall suspension and exposed underbody, the truck looks like a mechanical creature rather than a conventional vehicle. Its air-cooled V12 diesel engine eliminated the need for a large radiator, which further altered the front-end proportions and contributed to its distinctive appearance. Despite its odd looks, the Tatra 111 earned a legendary reputation for reliability. It was widely used for logging, military transport, and heavy hauling in harsh climates. When modern audiences see it today, the truck's proportions often feel wrong by contemporary design standards, which is why many assume images are digitally manipulated. In reality, the Tatra 111 is simply the result of engineering priorities that valued terrain dominance over visual familiarity. Number 4. Mercedes-Benz Unimog 404. The Mercedes-Benz Unimog 404 is one of those vehicles that looks more like a mechanical experiment than a conventional truck. Introduced in the 1950s, the 404 variant became one of the most widely produced Unimog models, especially for military use. Its purpose was simple but extreme: create a vehicle capable of performing almost any task in almost any environment. Visually, the Unimog 404 defies normal proportions. The cab is narrow and upright. The wheels sit far below the body thanks to portal axles, and the ground clearance is shockingly high for such a compact vehicle. Portal axles relocate the axle center above the wheel hub, which dramatically increases clearance without increasing suspension height. This single design choice gives the Unimog its distinctive hovering look that often makes it appear digitally altered. The Unimog 404 was designed to accept dozens of attachments: plows, cranes, winches, communication bodies, and more. Because of this modular philosophy, the vehicle often appears in photos wearing strange combinations of equipment, adding to its surreal appearance. One image may show it as a troop carrier, another as a radio truck, and another as a snow-clearing machine. Despite its strange looks, the Unimog 404 was brutally effective. Militaries trusted it because it could climb steep slopes, ford deep water, and operate reliably in extreme cold or heat. Today, when people encounter images of the Unimog 404 online, many assume it is CGI or AI generated. In truth, it is simply the visual result of uncompromising engineering, where function dictated form, no matter how strange that form appeared. Number 5. Krupp Protze KrAZ-255. The Krupp Protze KrAZ-255 is one of those trucks that looks almost too perfectly shaped to be real, especially when viewed from the side. Built in Germany during the early 1930s, the Protze was designed as a military transport and artillery towing vehicle. Unlike many trucks of its era that still resembled agricultural machines, the Protze featured a clean, symmetrical layout that feels oddly modern and strangely artificial when seen today. The most visually striking aspect of the Protze is its low, elongated profile, combined with a 6-wheel 6x4 configuration. The cab sits unusually low relative to the cargo bed, giving the truck a stretched cinematic silhouette. Its flat fenders, straight body lines, and evenly spaced wheels create a sense of visual balance that almost looks designed for animation rather than real-world use. In photographs, the truck often appears flatter and wider than expected, which contributes to the CGI-like illusion. Mechanically, the Krupp Protze used an air-cooled engine, an uncommon choice at the time, which reduced complexity and improved reliability in harsh conditions. The chassis was engineered for durability and stability rather than comfort, making it suitable for towing artillery and carrying troops. The suspension and drivetrain were robust but not refined, reinforcing its utilitarian purpose. What makes the Protze feel unreal today is not exaggeration but restraint. Its proportions are so clean and intentional that they contrast sharply with the cluttered design language of modern trucks. There are no oversized grills, no dramatic curves, just geometry. That geometric purity is what tricks the eye into thinking the truck is a digital recreation. In reality, the Krupp Protze was mass-produced and heavily used, proving that sometimes the strangest-looking machines are simply the most deliberately engineered. Number 6. KrAZ-255. The KrAZ-255 is a truck that looks less like a vehicle and more like a moving block of industrial force. Introduced in the late 1960s by the Soviet manufacturer KrAZ, this heavy off-road truck was built to operate in conditions where roads were optional and reliability was mandatory. Its appearance reflects that philosophy brutally and unapologetically. One of the main reasons the KrAZ-255 looks unreal is its extreme wheel-to-cab ratio. The tires are enormous, tall and wide, while the cab itself is compact and boxy. This creates a visual imbalance that modern eyes are not accustomed to seeing. In photographs, the truck often appears to have been scaled incorrectly, as if the wheels belong to a different vehicle altogether. The truck uses a 6x6 drivetrain with permanent all-wheel drive, making it capable of hauling heavy loads across mud, snow, sand, and undeveloped terrain. It was commonly used for military logistics, fuel transport, and engineering support roles. The chassis was massively overbuilt, prioritizing strength over weight savings or comfort. Unlike Western trucks of the same era, the KrAZ-255 made no attempt at visual refinement. Flat panels, sharp edges, and exposed hardware give it a raw, mechanical look. This unfinished appearance often leads people to believe images of the truck are digitally enhanced or stylized. In reality, it is simply the honest result of Soviet industrial design, where aesthetics were secondary to function. The KrAZ-255 earned a reputation for being nearly indestructible but difficult to drive. Steering was heavy, noise levels were high, and comfort was minimal. Yet this harshness is exactly what makes the truck feel unreal today. It looks like a machine built for a video game battlefield, but it spent decades working in the real world. Number 7. AEC Mammoth Major. The AEC Mammoth Major is one of the most visually confusing trucks ever produced, especially when seen without context. Built in Britain from the late 1950s onward, this heavy-duty 8-wheel truck was designed for construction, heavy haulage, and industrial transport. Its strange appearance comes from a design philosophy that prioritized payload and axle distribution over visual balance. At first glance, the Mammoth Major appears almost top-heavy. The cab is relatively small and boxy, while the chassis stretches long and wide beneath it, supported by 4 axles. This creates a low-slung, extended profile that looks exaggerated in photos. Many people seeing it for the first time assume it is a modified or digitally altered image because the proportions feel unfamiliar. The reason for this layout was practical. By spreading weight across multiple axles, the Mammoth Major could legally carry heavier loads on British roads. The cab-forward design maximized cargo space without increasing overall length. From an engineering standpoint, it was a smart solution. From a visual standpoint, it looks almost surreal. The Mammoth Major was powered by large diesel engines designed for torque, not speed. These trucks were commonly used as tippers, mixers, and heavy haulers. They were slow, strong, and extremely durable. Over time, the combination of a compact cab and a massive multi-axle chassis became a defining visual trait. Today, when images of the Mammoth Major circulate online, people often comment that it looks like a scale model enlarged incorrectly. That illusion comes from the way modern truck design has shifted toward taller cabs and fewer axles. The Mammoth Major belongs to a different era, one where engineering efficiency created shapes that now feel unreal. Number 8. Kenworth 953. The Kenworth 953 is a truck so extreme in appearance that it is frequently mistaken for CGI or concept art. Built in the United States and later used extensively in Australia, this off-road mining truck was designed to operate in some of the harshest environments on Earth. Unlike highway trucks, the 953 was never intended to look elegant or familiar. What immediately stands out is the sheer size of the tires and the elevated cab position. The cab sits high above the ground, while the wheels dominate the vehicle's visual mass. This creates a towering stance that looks exaggerated even by mining truck standards. In photographs, the truck often appears unreal because there are few everyday objects nearby to provide scale. The Kenworth 953 uses a rigid frame off-road design with massive structural components. Everything about it is oversized: axles, suspension, drivetrain, and cooling systems. These trucks were built to haul heavy loads over unprepared terrain for long hours without failure. Comfort, aerodynamics, and road manners were irrelevant. Unlike modern mining trucks that have smooth, rounded forms, the 953 retains sharp edges and exposed mechanical elements. This raw industrial look adds to its CGI-like presence. It looks less like a vehicle and more like a moving structure. When viewed today, the Kenworth 953 feels almost unreal because it represents a niche of truck design that no longer exists at this scale. It was built for a specific purpose, in a specific era, with no compromises. That purity of function is what makes it look like it belongs in a computer-generated world, even though it was very real and very hard at work. Number 9. MAZ-537. The MAZ-537 is one of the most visually imposing military trucks ever built, and its appearance alone is enough to make people assume they are looking at CGI. Developed in the Soviet Union during the late 1950s, this massive 8x8 heavy-duty truck was designed specifically to transport tanks, missiles, and other extremely heavy military equipment over long distances. Its role demanded strength far beyond that of conventional trucks, and its appearance reflects that requirement without compromise. The MAZ-537's proportions are unusual by any standard. The cab is wide and flat, almost slab-like, with a long hood that stretches forward in a way that feels exaggerated. The vehicle sits on 8 enormous wheels, evenly spaced along a long, rigid chassis. This symmetry, combined with the truck's sheer size, creates a visual effect that feels artificial, as if the vehicle were designed in a 3D modeling program rather than engineered in metal. Underneath its massive body, the MAZ-537 uses a powerful V12 engine originally derived from tank technology. This allowed it to haul loads weighing tens of tons, often pulling trailers that were longer and heavier than the truck itself. Steering such a vehicle was extremely demanding, and driving it required specialized training. Comfort was minimal and fuel consumption was enormous, but reliability was paramount. What makes the MAZ-537 look unreal today is the absence of modern design considerations. There is no attempt at aerodynamic shaping or visual softness. Everything is straight, flat, and oversized. Modern heavy trucks tend to hide their mass behind rounded forms, but the MAZ-537 puts its weight on full display. When seen in photos alongside soldiers or tanks, the scale becomes clear, but when viewed alone, it looks almost impossible, like a machine created for a digital battlefield rather than real-world service. Number 10. Foden DG. The Foden DG is a truck that often confuses modern viewers because its proportions feel fundamentally wrong by today's design standards. Built in Britain during the 1960s and 1970s, the DG series was primarily used as a dump truck in quarries, construction sites, and heavy industrial environments. While it was never intended to look unusual, its function-driven design has aged into something that looks almost surreal. The most striking feature of the Foden DG is its cab placement. The cab is mounted far forward, almost directly over the front axle, giving the truck a compressed, nose-heavy appearance. Behind it sits a massive dump body that rises high above the chassis. This combination creates a visual imbalance that makes the truck appear like two mismatched vehicles fused together. The DG was built for durability rather than aesthetics. Its square cab, flat panels, and minimal ornamentation were chosen for ease of repair and structural strength. The dump body was oversized to maximize payload, which further exaggerated the truck's proportions. In photographs, especially when unloaded, the DG often looks like a toy truck scaled up incorrectly. Mechanically, the Foden DG was respected for its toughness. It used heavy-duty drivetrains suitable for rough terrain and constant heavy loads. These trucks worked long hours in harsh conditions and were known for their longevity. However, the lack of visual refinement is exactly what makes them look unreal today. Modern trucks aim for balance and visual flow, even in industrial applications. The Foden DG belongs to an era where efficiency and strength mattered more than appearance. As a result, its shape now feels alien, too blunt, too tall, too forward set. That honest, uncompromising design is why the Foden DG often looks like CGI, even though it was a very real and very hard-working machine. Number 11. ZIL-157. The ZIL-157 is one of the most recognizable Soviet military trucks, and also one of the strangest looking. Introduced in the late 1950s, it was developed as an off-road transport vehicle for military and industrial use. While it was based on earlier designs, the ZIL-157 refined the concept into a machine whose proportions now look almost exaggerated. Visually, the ZIL-157 is tall and narrow, with a long hood and a relatively slim cab. The truck rides on large-diameter tires designed for soft terrain, which raises the vehicle high off the ground. This creates a stretched vertical appearance that feels unnatural to modern eyes. In many photographs, the truck looks taller than it should be, contributing to the illusion that the image has been digitally altered. The truck's design prioritized off-road performance. It featured a central tire inflation system, allowing the driver to adjust tire pressure from inside the cab depending on terrain. This was advanced technology for its time and contributed to the truck's ability to traverse mud, sand, and snow. The chassis and suspension were built for flexibility rather than comfort, giving the vehicle a slightly alive posture when parked. The ZIL-157 saw widespread use across the Soviet Union and allied countries, serving as a cargo carrier, communications vehicle, and platform for specialized equipment. Its angular bodywork, exposed elements, and lack of visual refinement give it a raw, almost skeletal look. Today, the ZIL-157 often appears in photos taken in remote landscapes, which removes familiar scale references. Without modern vehicles nearby, its tall stance and narrow body make it look unreal, like a digital model dropped into a real environment. In truth, it is simply the product of a design philosophy that valued terrain capability over visual harmony. Number 12. Steyr 680. The Steyr 680M is a military truck that looks more like a mechanical prototype than a production vehicle. Developed in Austria during the late 1960s and 1970s, it was designed for extreme off-road use in mountainous terrain. Its appearance reflects that mission so clearly that it often looks unreal in photographs. The 680M features extreme ground clearance, a compact cab, and exposed mechanical components. The wheels appear oversized relative to the body, and the suspension geometry is clearly visible. This creates a skeletal, industrial look that feels closer to engineering diagrams than to conventional truck design. The cab itself is boxy and narrow, designed to keep the vehicle compact while navigating tight mountain roads. Unlike modern military trucks that attempt to hide their complexity behind panels, the Steyr 680M proudly displays its mechanical nature. Axles, suspension arms, and driveline components are all visually prominent, which contributes to its CGI-like appearance. Mechanically, the Steyr 680M was highly capable. It used permanent all-wheel drive and locking differentials, allowing it to climb steep slopes and cross difficult terrain reliably. These trucks were valued for their stability and control rather than speed. What makes the Steyr 680M look unreal today is its honesty. There is no visual smoothing, no attempt to make the truck look friendly or modern. It looks exactly like what it is, a purpose-built machine engineered to survive harsh environments. In an age where design often prioritizes aesthetics, the 680M's raw functionality feels almost artificial. That contrast is why many people assume images of it are CGI, when in reality, it is simply uncompromising engineering made visible. So that's it for today. If you like this video, then please hit the like and subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching.